Hey y'all, this is Jazzmyn Banks, and I'm back again to do another review of the show Push Girls. This is a docu-series about four women who are friends and happen to be in wheelchairs and all the stuff that they go through in life, either because of the wheelchair and what comes with it, or just in their personal lives and how normal their lives are. I, of course, am very curious about the show because I myself am in a wheelchair since I was 10 years old due to an illness that I developed overnight at 7 years old called juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. This last episode dealt with a very controversial subject of stem cell implantation to help someone to either walk again or put a disease into remission or whatever it is. One of the first women on the show, a young girl, 18, in a car accident. She wants to look into having this done because she would like to, of course, walk again. One of the other women, who's been in a wheelchair for years, who was a dancer, got into a car accident, would love to be able to dance again, but she is opposed to stem cell treatment because of right-to-life issues. And honest to God, I can understand why this might hold you back from doing something like that. Depending on what your beliefs are in that, me personally, I wouldn't want to use a medication that had ingredients that came from aborted babies, and there are medicines out there that do. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't realize, and I did some research on this because I would love to get better, is stem cells are not just taken from embryos. That's just one way. They can take them from you. They can go up your nose, and they can take them from the top of the inside of your nose. They can take them from an umbilical cord of a baby that was born and healthy, because they're going to toss that umbilical cord out. When they circumcise little boys, babies, there's stem cells in the baby foreskins. Depending on how you feel about that issue, again, that is another option. If you have a whole sibling, meaning you both have the same mom and dad and you both have the same blood type, there are stem cells that they can draw from that person and help you with those. So it's not always about an embryo. So one of the discussions, the debates that go on in this episode, is the one girl feels that being in a wheelchair is not a curse, but it's just nothing that's helpful to her. The other girl, the other woman, feels that it's a blessing that this happened to her. Look, here she has all these opportunities coming. She's on a TV show. Her life is moving forward. She's able to be a voice for the disabled community. And it's not that that's not true, because certainly it's true. And I don't know if I personally would call her becoming disabled a blessing. My personal feelings on the issue of whether something like this happening is a blessing is that becoming wheelchair bound or developing a disease or any kind of health issue, that's not a blessing. It's just not. And losing your ability to walk or to feel or to function in any way, not a blessing. However, what you choose to do with that circumstance and what you can do with it that's positive, there's the blessing. That you can do something with this, make lemonade out of lemons. That's the blessing, is what you can do with what you're given, as opposed to that the lemons were the blessing. It depends. I wanted to be a dancer. I really don't look at the fact that I'm in a wheelchair and I can't do a whole lot of things that I would like to in life because of it. I don't view that as a blessing. What I view as a blessing is how I've grown as a person, my outlook on life, what I've decided to do despite it. I guess it's my attitude that I've decided to have, that I'm not going to let this situation win at bringing me down. That's the blessing. So I think that when you watch them debate this issue, I think she meant that. It wasn't very clear, and it made you feel so bad for the girl, because there was nothing wrong at all with her wanting to just walk again. And no matter what, she's grown as a person just from having this situation occur. She will still be able to do something with it. So it's okay if she leaves the disabled community and walks again. It's fine. I remember years ago when I was doing public speaking, and Christopher Reeve was newly injured and was starting to pursue bringing public awareness to some stem cell research when it came to spinal cord injuries. People were up in arms, and I was kind of shocked by it, because I thought, well, wouldn't that be a good thing if some of the community could start to walk again? Wouldn't people want that? And I remember one woman saying to me, well, he's saying it's like disability is a bad thing. Why should he be making people feel that it's bad to be disabled? And I guess it's not a bad thing to be disabled. It's not. But it's not an easy life. It's not one that I think anyone would willingly choose. There is something wrong with having a health condition. But there's nothing wrong if you accept that you're stuck with this situation and you're going to do the best you can in life despite it, and just live life without worrying about that you're not like everybody else. Because there was a point in my life that we were trying to make me walk again, and I could see mechanically the issues that were involved, and also just all the work I'd have to do to just walk a few feet here and there, and that was going to be the goal, when I wanted to do so much more with my life. And all this therapy every day to just have that little bit was robbing me from everything I wanted to achieve in life. And the hospital I was in at the time, when I made the decision I wasn't going to pursue it, I just wanted to go back and finish college and do the things I wanted to do in life. One of the nurses said to me, why are you limiting yourself by not walking? If you could walk, you could do so much more. And I said, you don't understand. I can do so much more as I am. Walking isn't going to make any difference, especially if it's not going to be the kind of walking that would bring me out into the rest of the world. And she said, okay, fine then, so you have a nice wheelchair life. So there's more to life than walking. This is for sure. And it's a blessing if you can have the attitude to say, okay, I consider this illness or this disability not to be my enemy, but my worthy opponent, and I'm not going to let them win. I am going to be the one holding up the belt at the end of the round. Or whatever round of rounds, I don't know, I'm not into sports, but you get the point there. You have to be competitive. It's you against this health situation. Now, as for those that would not willingly want to take on a disability, you would think nobody would. But I sort of referred in my last video that there are a lot of things that come with being disabled, especially when you're in a wheelchair or you're visibly disabled. Aside from how people treat you, it's not unusual that people treat you like a child, or they treat you like, the wheelchair's on your head, not just, you're not sitting in it, and you're treated unfairly, bottom line. But there is a community of people called devotees that worship people who are disabled. And when I was a public speaker, I was getting people that were signing up to be fans on my website, and every once in a while someone would say, could I be your devotee? I didn't know what they meant. And finally, one of my assistants said, you better ask what that means. So I did, only to find out it's someone with a fetish for someone who's disabled. And I didn't know whether to be concerned or not, because I had never heard of this before. And the woman that I was chatting with said, well, there's 3 categories. There are the people that just they love it. They love to admire someone in a wheelchair and do something for them. Those are devotees. Then there are pretenders, and they love not only to admire it, but to pretend that they're in a wheelchair and pretend that they've got all these different disabilities. And then there are those that are called wannabes, which most of the devotee community doesn't really respect them, because those are people that really want to become disabled. They will do anything to put themselves in a wheelchair. There have been people that will put their legs in dry ice so that the legs become dead, and they have to amputate them. So now they become amputees and wheelchair bound for life, because that's what they wanted, and so many other cases. So it was very interesting to learn a lot about this lifestyle. This woman directed me to a website that she said was very tastefully done, where they had a lot of videos that people who were devotees loved to watch. So I watched a video thinking it was going to be porn. Well, no, it was porn, but not how I viewed porn. It basically looked like a physical therapy video of someone just transferring from the wheelchair to another wheelchair, transferring from wheelchair to the bed, someone trying to eat with a special fork, just all of these different things. But this was their porn, soft porn, I guess. And it was shocking, and I didn't quite know how to take it, and I really had quite a few issues with it, because also I had all these people saying they wanted to be my devotee. And then I was at an appearance, and there was this band with these two guys who were in wheelchairs. The band's name was Bango. And so I asked them, I said, "You're guys, you're in wheelchairs. What do you think of this whole devotee thing? I'm sort of finding it a little bit disturbing in a way." And they said, "Really? Well, that's because you're a girl. And imagine if you had someone that would worship you, would feed you grapes, would wash your feet, would do anything that you have to say, and just thinks you're the most beautiful thing in the entire world. As a guy, this is great. So is it that bad of a thing?" And I thought about it, and I was like, well, I guess not. I mean, I don't see myself partaking in that, but I guess when you really think about it, is it that awful of a thing that there is a community out there that holds the disabled community in the highest regard, worships them, thinks they're the most fantastic, beautiful, intelligent people? Is that such a bad thing? I guess not, when you put it that way. And then it makes me question, well, what's wrong with the rest of society that makes all of us out to be people that are like children, that aren't all there mentally, that shouldn't have equal rights, should have less than, and should stay poor, and should stay without so many things in life just because we're disabled and we're viewed as a burden to society? I don't know. Who are the weird ones? Who are the ones that, I don't know, they have something to their train of thinking in a certain way. So it's just interesting what you come across when you're disabled, the things you have to think about, the controversies that are out there. I'm curious if the show is even going to bring up some of the fetish stuff that people have to deal with, because when I tell you it's out there, there's a lot, really a lot. And just even the other ways that you're treated, that people kind of watch you like you're this alien. I can't eat in public without people staring at me, which there's certain foods I won't eat in public. I don't eat spaghetti in public. I just don't do that. And friends and family members and so on have always noticed this. They're like, "Do you know that people are watching you eat? They're watching everything you do." Or when I would have my kids when they were young, and I would be doing things with them, they were watching me. My kid was like, "Oh my God, we're going to watch the alien bake cookies just like we would do." So let's see what the next episode of the show brings. And, let me know what your thoughts are on stem cell research and what it can do for diseases and disabilities. Let me know your thoughts on the disabled community and about this show. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.